Mahomes has a long future in the NFL, and I think Brady might get his what sixth ring.
Yeah,
It'll be
sixth.
six.
Sixth, yeah.
Yeah, kind of make a rule not to go against Belichick and Brady. So the game went out. Came out kind of the way I thought it was going to. Mostly, I figured that you see a lot of Belichick and Brian Flores taking out um, KC the way they did in the first game. But KC showed a lot of resolve in coming back and made it a really interesting game, but a little bit too much Brady.
Yeah, being down 14-0.
Right.
Well, after everyone was saying the New England's defense wasn't good anymore, they took care of the Chiefs in the first half.
They shut down.
I mean, they gave up 30. They gave up 31 in the second half. I mean, it's the Chiefs. Every team gave up 30 points too, I think, except the Ravens. But I mean, Trey Flowers played a pretty good game, and a big thing with the Patriots did. The offensive line's been a little shaky this year, but they made the Chiefs' defensive line they made non-existent.
Yeah, New England's defense also shut down the fastest player in the league, Tyreek Hill. I think he was only held with one catch. It was a big catch. It was only one catch, and then they shut down one of the best tight ends also, Travis Kelce. So, was that at the end of the game roughing the passer on Tom Brady?
Oh, no.
No, I don't think so either. I honestly don't think so. That was more of a piss poor soft call, in my opinion.
I think you get that call because you're Tom Brady.
Exactly. Yep.
Patrick Mahomes probably doesn't get that call. I mean, he might because the season he had, but I mean, if you're Tom Brady, you get that call. So I mean, that's just his status with the league.
And a lot of times, the way they're calling roughing the passer now, the officials are anticipating the penalty before it actually happens, which is what I think happened in that case. They saw that the hand go up to the upper part of the body, and then that's when the flag came out. Only just tell on replay that it actually wasn't a penalty.
Should there be replays in that department, in the flag area department? Can we replay that?
See, well, I mean, we'll get to that a little bit more when we get into the Saints and Rams game.
We'll be talking about
But I think when you get to that point where you're where you want to question every flag, which as fans we want to do, but at that point you're ruining the flow of the game. And I understand these refs don't get it right all the time. They do most of the time. This year they've been a little shaky. I mean, we've seen them do discussions and take way too long. But I think at that point you're just ruining the flow of the game.
We also saw for the first time ever this year, didn't first ref ever during the Super Bowl era got fired?
Yeah. That was the ref.
The Browns and
Yeah, he missed that. He missed the false start on the left tackle of the Chargers, and the Chargers to a 29-yard touchdown pass against the Browns.
Yeah.
Go figure.
All right, now the NFC Championship game. We had New Orleans and LA. LA came out on top in overtime. Both games went to overtime. First time ever in the Super Bowl era for that too. What was your guys' takeaways from that game?
I mean, the Rams, they came to play. So did the Saints.
The Saints were controlled.
The Rams did not lead at all until they won. They were in it. I mean, and it's not easy to go to the Superdome and win, but when you have help with the refs, like the way they did, it makes everything a little bit easier.
You know what? I thought that the first half, the Saints were really in control of the game. I'm surprised the way they played in the second half at home. And I know that the Rams are a formidable opponent, but even just the way that Peyton coached the game the last 12 minutes, very passive, and it's almost like we're playing, coaching not to lose as opposed to coaching to win, and that's not really what he does. He's normally going for the jugular. That didn't happen here, and I think that's the biggest reason why they lost. We can focus on the the non-pass interference call if we want, but there's no way they should have lost that game.
Yeah, because I remember during the season when the Saints went on that couple week span of scoring 40, and they played the Eagles, and they were up by 25, 30 points late in the game, and he still threw a 40-yard touchdown pass to Kamara. And I mean, I understand you're playing a division rival in the regular season, but why wouldn't you bring that same attitude to a playoff game?
Exactly. I'm always wary of coaches that forget that they have running backs in playoff games. It's just,
Especially
Well,
someone like Alvin Kamara.
he's got two.
well,
I mean,
yeah,
Ingram.
they since I think the last 2 years they've been the best like statistical,
Yeah.
most touchdowns, yards. They're first. Like it's not even close. Like, and you got Mark Ingram who can get 8 yards, no problem. You got
Mhm.
Kamara who can catch the ball automatic 10 yards.
Yeah.
I don't know why he was too cute with the offense.
Right.
hmm I mean, when they were going on those 40 plus win or that 40 points per game wins, they were throwing everything out, going aggressive the entire time.
Everything was working.
Yeah, I mean, he's Sean Payton, someone who goes for it on fourth down,
Mm-hmm.
no matter where he is on the field. If it's close enough and if it's reasonable, he's going to go for it. He's aggressive. I don't think he showed that in that NFC Championship game.
Speaking of going fourth down, we got to give the Rams some credit. They were down early in the game.
They
I
went
think
for
I think it was
31 or something.
on their own 31, and
Yeah.
they ran the fake
Fake
punt.
punt, yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I
that's-
mean, right there, you gotta give Sean McVay credit because
That's giving Sean Payton a taste of his own
because
medicine.
what
Exactly.
weren't they down 14-0,
Yeah, they were down
and
14.
they ran a fake punt on their side of the field.
Mhm.
That's it's what you got to do to win though.
Mhm. All right, now you got to talk about it in that game, the pass interference call. I got to say, yeah, it was pass interference. Also, was helmet to helmet. The dude's mouthpiece Tommy Lee Lewis' mouthpiece got knocked out. How's that not helmet to helmet? How's that not pass interference?
So all game, which I was cool with it. They were letting them play
They
a little
were
bit of
letting them
contact
play.
here and
Mhm.
there, but at that moment they let them play at the wrong. Well, that's not even letting them play. That was a blatant pass interference. But like, I don't care who you are. Like that flag's got to come out.
Yeah.
Like and if like in the corner himself, after the game, he said himself that's a pass interference. Like he thought they were gonna call it, they didn't. But all he had to do is if he just turned around, he had a pick.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like it's just he just laid the dude out and like
I think in that moment, if you look back at the tape, the replay, that ref is back and to the right of the shoulder. So I think his angle on it,
Mhm.
it's a human error, but I think he saw the ball and the hit being delivered at the same time, just because where he was standing.
yeah, I saw a video of the back
I haven't
angle
heard
too.
anyone talk about that part either.
I saw it and
It looks close.
from his angle it looked close, and then the ref back judge
Mhm.
on he was about to throw the flag. And
Yeah,
the ref,
he
you're
told him
talking
no,
about
yeah.
no, and I can kind of see why, but
Mhm.
I think at that point you throw the flag anyways and discuss it.
Mhm. So should we replay these types of penalties? I don't think you should be able to replay a hold, even if it's not a hold. You shouldn't be able to do that. The pass interference, maybe because of what happened. I think, yeah, because of what happened, you don't want it to happen again in a time like that, a game like that, and what's all on the line to go win the Super Bowl. What do you guys think?
Well, we're getting to the point where they're going to have to, especially with pass interference, because those calls can change a game. It's a spot foul, so you can gain 50 yards on a penalty. Something that big, you're going to have to go back and review to make sure you get it right. I'm really on the fence about it myself, but I know it's coming to that. The stage was too big. The blown call was too egregious. It's going to happen sooner or later. I agree with you as far as like holding. We can't review every holding
Yeah,
call.
you can't review every penalty. There's
No.
got to be some you got to
Yeah, I mean,
leave out.
I was thinking about it, and I'm okay with reviewing the pass interferences. I mean, because there's a lot of them where the guy barely touches them and they
Mhm.
call it, or you tackle the guy and they don't call it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to like get down a slippery slope of people trying to push rules like review this penalty, review that penalty. Because like I said earlier, it's just going to start running the flow of the game.
Right.
And they're already taking way too many commercial breaks. I don't know if you guys realized that during the game. It was like every time they stopped, it was 3-minute commercial break, and like at that point, it was already ruining the flow of the game to me.
Mhm.
Then you start challenging penalties, it's just gonna.
Maybe start reviewing those in these type of games, like the playoff games, because I mean the games are
Yeah.
already 3 hours, 3.5 hours
Right.
long. So that's just a thought. Also, in those games, overtime. What do we think about the overtime rules? If you guys have any rules you think that you should put in place.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with the way it is. I think we're being prisoners of the moment here.
But you wouldn't want to see Mahomes get the ball one more time, see what he does.
I think that it's up to the defense to make that happen.
Yeah.
New England had 3 3rd and 10s, and they converted all 3
That's true. Yeah.
on the road
Yeah.
in the AFC
I
Championship.
mean, yeah, they couldn't stop him, but also New England's defense at that time, they couldn't stop Mahomes in the second half.
That's true.
Yeah, and I saw someone trying to bring up they want to do it like a college and like
Ugh,
there's no way
That's
there's no way I'm letting Mahomes and Tom Brady start at their own at the other team's 30. That's not fair.
That's not going to happen.
I think just go to a full, play another quarter, play another
I will
7 or 10 minute quarter.
I'd
That
play-
would be my idea.
yeah, I mean we can play another quarter.
Mhm.
If you're tied at the end of the quarter,
That's
do
the fairest
another
way to do it. Probably. Just play another quarter.
Yeah, it's simple, it's easy. All right.
Right now, I mean, like, if we just play another quarter in the playoffs
Mhm.
and not the regular season, I'll be okay with that too.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. All right, now the winners of those championship games playing in the Super Bowl, New England versus LA. Brady is in his 9th Super Bowl. Some of the guys in LA were watching Brady in Super Bowls. Now they're going to play
Actually,
against
When Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, Sean McVay was 15 years old,
them.
and
Wow.
he was playing at Miami, Ohio, he was playing against Julian Edelman.
Yes,
It's
that's true.
like that's something different.
All right, so what do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think the Patriots are going to win. It's going to have to be a high scoring game. So I got New England 38-34. Again, I tend to lean toward Brady and Belichick when it comes to Super Bowls. They're probably still smarting at last year's Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they'll pull this one out.
Every time Brady and Belichick been in a Super Bowl, it's come down to a one possession
Yeah,
game.
every
So
time.
I like it how what you said about it's going to be a close game. I think it's also going to be high scoring. I'm going to go with 42-40, and I can't go against Brady and Belichick. I mean, I already said that when they were playing the Chargers,
Mhm.
and that didn't turn out well. So I'm going to go with New England.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to go Patriots here. I mean, when it comes to Super Bowl, it comes down to experience. You're putting Jared Goff up against Tom Brady, Sean McVay up against Bill Belichick. I'm taking Belichick and Brady 10 times out of 10. If the Patriots defense keeps doing what it's doing, I mean, they'll be fine because I think Chiefs are definitely a better offense than the Rams. The Chargers in the regular season, even though I think they're pretenders, they're at that level. So if they can do half of what they're doing, then they'll have a solid chance to win. And with the Rams, they got to ask Aaron Donald, you have to be in Tom Brady's face every time he steps back, or we're not going to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but if you're New England, who do you take away?
You
The
gotta
key is
take
taking
away-
somebody
you
away.
gotta
Who do you take away on the Rams?
Aaron Donald.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because
I'm not saying Aaron Donald's great.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a game changing type of player though. Like if he goes off, even for 4 sacks, like you were saying the other day, if he goes for 4 sacks, I still don't think that'd be enough.
because I mean, the Patriots they took away Kelsey, they took away Tyreek Hill,
Right.
they took away Melvin Gordon, they took away Keenan Allen,
Mhm.
and I mean, I like Robert Woods, he's a good player, but he's not on the level of those guys.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I mean, who's there?
They're
Gurley's not playing as much as he was before.
I think he's hurt. I think he's hurt. They're not saying.
hope he's hurt.
Yeah, he doesn't look healthy, but they're going to need CJ Anderson. I mean, CJ
Yeah.
Anderson, they're going to have to ask a lot of CJ Anderson
I
like they've
agree.
been doing. And he's fresh. He's barely played this year,
Mhm.
so I think he can do it. But they're going to need like Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks. They're going to need Josh Reynolds to step up, and they're going to need something for the tight end.
And as we were saying, I think it was yesterday, if you're going to beat the Patriots, you have to have a miracle happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you saw this year with the Dolphins, how they scored at the last second with Gronk all the way
Yeah.
back, and Philly last year in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
those are miracle plays.
You had a God run from Nick Foles out of nowhere,
Mhm.
and you had the helmet catch in 2007. And you just had more Eli Magic and the next time they face, and the only time Brady's lost is when the other team did something magical.
Correct.
Mhm. All right, now into the Super Bowl. There is fantasy football. I am a big fantasy football player. Are you?
Yeah, I dabble.
I'm not.
You're not?
No, not at all.
Well, it's fun. If you're willing to
I'm
gamble a
I'm
little
sure
bit of
it
money,
is.
it gets really fun.
Yeah.
All right, so in that game, I think when you're making your fantasy football team, I think you're going to have to build with quarterback, or you're going to have to go Tom Brady. I don't think Goff is going to be ready for that Super Bowl moment. I mean, you saw in the New Orleans game, he was scared beginning. He was frustrated because of the noise. He wasn't doing what he's usually able to do. And now you're going up against Brady and Belichick in the Super Bowl. You're going to have to perform. So he's someone I'd stay away from in the fantasy perspective of that. The skill players I'm going to go with, I like Sony Michel.
Mhm.
He's been used a lot.
James White too.
I think C.J. Anderson. I did not write down. What's his name? Gurley. I did not write down Gurley. I don't like Gurley in this game, so I think C.J. Anderson. I like Brandon Cooks. I like Edelman. I like Woods, and I like James White, of course. But last game, New England was using Rex Burkhead.
Yeah, they're using
So
like
he's
short
maybe a
yardage
sleeper.
and goal
Yeah.
line. I mean,
He's maybe a
couple
sleeper.
touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. I also like Philip Dorsett as a sleeper, Higbee for LA as a sleeper, and then Hogan. So I mean, if you're watching the Super Bowl, you always got guys who are showing up.
And then if you're playing like a FanDuel or something where you need a defense, I don't think it really matters because I think both defenses are going to give up 40 points.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, it's trending that way.
But if you're going kickers, I'll go Greg Zuerlein. I can see them in a lot of field goal chances.
I think he's earned it. Yeah.
I mean, he's got a boot. Don't call him
Mhm.
Greg the Lake for nothing.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna roll into our next segment on the podcast. We're gonna talk about free agency.
All right, we got a lot to start with there. For teams that need a quarterback, I feel bad for you.
Yes.
Unless you want Tyrod Taylor or Teddy Bridgewater or like Nate Sudfeld.
Bridgewater's a free agent.
Yeah, I mean, they Saints might bring him back, but because Taysom Hill isn't like a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't.
But so if you're like the Jags and you don't want, and you might not get a quarterback, which I think they should. You're in bad shape there. Running back, there's a lot to go. I can see Washington bringing back Adrian Peterson. He's still got a couple years left in the tank.
Mm-hmm. It's not gonna be I don't know if it'll be 1,000-yard season.
No, I mean, because they should have Darius Geis come back too from his knee injury. So. Peyton Barber, I mean, he wasn't bad for Tampa Bay, but they got a lot of problems. More worried about running backs.
Yeah, they got a lot going on.
Mike Davis, Seattle had a good 3 running back trio with Penny, Carson, and Mike Davis. Le'Veon Bell, we know he's not staying in Pittsburgh. I can see him going to the Jets.
Jets? You think the Jets?
Yeah, I mean, they got the money and they need to
I'm
run.
gonna go with the Colts.
I
I think he's
deadly.
gonna go with
I
the
can see the
Colts.
Colts.
That's deadly. And then I don't know. So Philadelphia, they're pretty thin at running back. Jay Giants
They're
towards
thin.
ACL.
Yeah,
Well, I think they're. I think
but
they're.
they got a massive amount of running backs on
They
their
got like
roster.
I mean they still got Sproles playing. Corey Clement.
Mhm. Josh Adams.
I mean, do you think they bring back Jay Giants?
No,
No, you think? Yeah, I mean.
I
I
don't
mean,
think so.
I can see
I don't
them.
think they'll bring him back, but someone will pick him up.
I can see
mean,
them.
he's
I would
still-
say that.
He's still got a lot left to do.
I can see them drafting a running back though. We can get that later. Oakland, Marshawn Lynch is a free agent.
Mhm.
Think he's done with that injury. he
Well,
had?
John Gruden the other day said he wanted to bring him back, so I think he'll come back.
Yeah, I
One
mean,
more year,
he
maybe.
just he loves the team. He loves the organization. So. Mark Ingram. What do the Saints do? Because the Saints only have $19 million in cap space.
Well, I
I
think
think Thomas's rookie contract's
It's
up
up
too.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
So they got Thomas and
I think. You think Ingram lead? Actually, what about Ingram to Philly?
I can see that.
see it. I don't think if they had to keep Mike Thomas or
Oh,
Mark
I'm
Ingram,
keeping
I'm keeping Mike Thomas.
Yeah.
especially we got Kamara, he's still on a rookie deal too. I'm definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way he's going to return to New Orleans.
So Minnesota's got Dalvin Cook, and he started off slow last year, and he kicked it up in the end. They got Latavius Murray, a free agent, who is very serviceable for them. I can see him.
I can see
him leaving.
They got no need for him.
No, I mean not anymore.
Proven running back in the league.
There's Alfred Blue.
Alfred Blue, yeah.
Lamar Miller, he had like a stretch of good games, and then they went blue.
I'm gonna see
I
Blue
can see him
coming back.
re-signing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him resigning. I mean, Lamar Miller, he's done what he has done in the NFL. I don't think it's gonna get any better. And Alfred Blue showed signs of stuff that Lamar Miller can do. So
We got, and then Alex Collins with Baltimore. Like I think they have 4 running backs.
yeah, they got an amount of.
The only one they
there.
have on contract is Dixon, and he was pretty good for him.
Mhm.
I see them bringing back Collins, and then just kind of letting the others go. Because with the run game they had with Lamar Jackson, I expect Lamar Jackson to be the starter next year.
Yeah.
So we'll go with that. And then our last running back on the list, which actually one I'm really interested about, is Tevin Coleman. Because he took over for Devonta Freeman when he got hurt, but I think he can get some money this year.
Tevin Coleman can be a starter in this league. Absolutely.
I think he could be a starter for Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
He could be a starter. I mean,
Philly.
Philly, yeah.
Philly's good. That was
Philly's
good
a
landing
spot
spot
for
for him.
him.
Absolutely.
Even Tampa. I mean, they don't have anything great. I think Coleman's an upgrade at least.
Coleman is a starter. He's a starter.
I think at
He's a
least
starter.
half the league.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we can move on to wide receivers. I had Larry Fitzgerald on here because I was wondering if he was going to retire, but we received that news today that he's going back to the Cardinals for at least 1 more year.
Yep, he signed a 1 year.
Randall Cobb, he's kind of underachieved. I don't know. I mean, Green Bay's got a lot going on right now. I can see him just wanting to get away from that toxic.
I can see him getting away. I mean, he's done what he's done in the NFL. I don't think he can exceed whatever he's done. That's nothing against him. I can't see him being better than he already has been.
One of my biggest ones, Golden Tate. He was having his best year of his career with Detroit. Tailed off. They traded him. He didn't really get going with Philadelphia. He did have a big touchdown in the playoff game against the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
But he's more capable than still playing. He's kind of old, but he's one of the best receivers in the NFL after the catch.
Absolutely. This wide receivers list is not very intriguing at all.
No, I mean it's mainly guys like I can see Kevin White staying in Chicago.
I mean, there's interesting guys like Kevin White is the first guy I thought of. He's interesting,
because he's been hurt all those years. He finally
Correct.
stayed healthy for a year, played pretty good.
Can anyone see Dez coming back?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean,
I don't think so.
Achilles tear at that age
Yeah.
in professional sports.
He's a competitor.
He is though. I mean, I'm not gonna sell him short, but I'd say the odds are stacked against him right now.
Mm-hmm. Now let's get into the defensive free agents.
All right, I
So
saw
the D line.
one of my top guys in the D line is Grady Jarrett from the Falcons. Last year he had a 16% pass win rate, which for an interior lineman the average is 8%. So as far as pass rushers go in the interior, he's one of the best in the league. An intriguing one to me is David Irving. He's had some trouble off the field, personal issues, but his 23-game stretch from 2015 to 2016 was absurd. And if he can just stay on the field, he could be one of the best interior D linemen in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Frank Clark. You know, he went to Glenville.
Local guy.
He's a monster, and he's a player that I like to see the Browns get. But Seattle's got some money. They got $54 million, and I could see them throwing a franchise tag on him. But they also got KJ Wright as a free agent too, so I think they might have to pick and choose between one.
On that list, I really like DeMarcus Lawrence.
Oh, that dude's a monster.
Yeah.
He's young still too.
If I'm Jerry Jones,
Yeah, I'm paying him.
I'm giving him the checkbook and you write a number on it.
Mhm. All right, let's go to linebackers. You like anyone?
Linebackers. Let's see who we got. Nobody jumps out. If you're thinking about the 3-4 guys, Shane Reyes and Shaq Barrett are intriguing. Shaq Barrett would look good in Cleveland, actually.
Yeah.
I think Clay Matthews would look great in Cleveland.
You know, I think he just needs to get out of Green Bay.
Yeah,
Because they
same
brought
one.
Mike Pettin switched up the scheme, and it reminds me of Paul Kruger with the Browns.
Oh, that was fun.
He had that 1 year he was a monster, and then they switched from a 4-3 to a 3-4, and he just didn't fit the scheme.
Yeah.
And I think Steve Wilkes, he's gonna run a hybrid defense. So you'll see a 3-4, you'll see a 4-3, you'll see it all. So I think Clay Matthews will be a really good fit.
Yeah, what do you think of defensive backs, Corey?
Defensive backs.
It's not much.
Not at all. Especially in the cornerback. Justin Bethel is probably top of the list there that I could think of. I see Cleveland's got 4 free agents. Buddy Calhoun and Justin Burris are restricted, but maybe Bradley Roby. He's not.
I don't think
He's not what
No,
he trended out to be
actually,
when he started.
Brad, I mean, he's like last year, like he gave up a passer rating of 108, which is like 79th
Yeah.
in the NFL, and he got targeted one of the most. So like he had 12 pass deflections. The numbers inflated because he was targeted over 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
And he had one good game, and it was against the Arizona Cardinals, the worst offense in the NFL. So I really can't put any stock in him.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like Ronald Darby.
Okay.
He's been all with Buffalo and Philly. He's been good. He had a knee injury last year. I think he can come back and still play at that level. And I also like Peter DeSer. It took him a couple years to find his foot in the league, but he's turned into a real nice player for the Colts. And
Big kid too, 6'3", 220.
yeah, and then what do you guys think about Buster Screen?
Just like with the Seer, I liked him when he was here.
Yeah, I mean,
Buster Screen's a good player.
He hasn't got any better.
No.
His best, what got him paid with the Jets, he's still at that level. But I mean, I take him. I mean, with the way the league is now, you can't have too many corners.
No, it seems to me cornerbacks is like the quarterback position on defense, in the sense that the good ones make money and resign, and then you got guys like Screen where you're finding faults in them, and you're wondering why they're going to be free agents.
Mm-hmm. One guy we have not brought up, defensive back. I do like the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. He's got the skill and he's athletic. He's fast. He can play.
Yeah, Texans got some money. I can see them keeping him again.
Mm-hmm.
But they also got to work on Clowney too. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into our next segment here. We're going to talk about the draft.
All right.
Let's start at the quarterback
Sounds
position.
good to me.
We'll rank them. On my quarterback list, I ranked just one through 3. I put Haskins, the best quarterback in the draft.
I'd have to agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got Murray, the second best, but the thing is he going to play baseball or is he going to go play football?
So I got Haskins as the best. I mean, you're just watching him in college. He's definitely the most. I think he's the most pro ready. I like Kyler. He's interesting to me because, like, he has the tools, and his build. I don't want to put too much on the like. There's been short quarterbacks, but he'd be like a new level of short quarterbacks. And I mean, I'd hope it works out for him if he wants to play football. But I mean, it's tough to draft him.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see him being drafted just because he's on that Lincoln Riley, the Baker Mayfield,
Mhm.
that tree.
Yep. My the third quarterback I put down was Will Greer. He's one of those guys. He's not only going to need 1 year on the bench. I think he's going to need 2.
Yeah, I could see
be
that.
ready for the NFL.
I could see like the Giant. I mean, that'd be a good fit for the Giant. I mean, I don't know how long they can let Eli play,
Yeah.
but I mean that'd be a good fit for him. But I like Drew Lock. he's got some zip on it. He's a tall guy. I think he's 6'4".
Yeah.
I think he need to sit for a year, but I mean he can have a future in the league. And one of the guys I'm looking at is from Duke. As crazy as that
Jones.
sounds.
Yeah.
The Jones from
Yeah.
Duke. He's having a pretty good Senior Bowl right now, and I could see him. I could see him actually, depending on. I mean, there are some desperate teams quarterbacks, so I mean, it just depends how it flies. But I could see him being a higher pick.
Mm-hmm. All right, Corey, who do you got? Quarterback. What do you like?
I'm pretty much the same. I got Haskins 1, Locke 2, and Jones 3. I like what you said about Will Greer. He's a winner. He's going to get a shot eventually. And the same with Kyler Murray. Murray's there are a lot of air raid type systems now in the NFL, so he's going to get a chance to play if that's what he wants to do. His height really scares me because he's listed to 5'10", and no one that's seen him thinks he's that big. So you're looking at 5'8", 5'9".
So he'd be like Kyler Murray height.
Yeah, that's Doug Flutie-ish.
Yeah.
All right. Next about the draft. This draft is a defensive line draft.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you need
They
defense,
said they can see 20 of the picks going defensive line. So yeah, if you need it, you got it. Who do you guys like?
Obviously Nick Bosa. I mean, I think
I got Nick
probably
Bosa.
the best overall prospect in the draft.
Mhm.
I like Farrell from Clemson. I mean, we saw what he did in the championship game. He just bullied,
Made himself some money.
He just bullied the left tackle from, from Alabama. I mean, and he's supposed to be a high pick.
Yeah.
And one guy who caught my eye here, just Senior Bowl started, is Montez Sweets from. I don't know if you guys saw him. He did this video I was watching. Bull Rush. One of the guys at the Senior Bowl and just straight up knocked him down.
Mhm.
And I think it's draft stock is going to climb that.
Defensive lineman, I marked down one through 3. I have Nick Bosa at 1, Ed Oliver, and then I really like Draymond Jones. You can call me a homer, I don't care, but look what Ohio State players
He's good.
have produced in the
And then
NFL.
I also like Dexter Lawrence. I don't know how the drug test is going to affect his draft stock. I mean, if I'm still taking that guy round 1.
Yeah.
Rashawn Gary from Michigan, I like him, and then there's also Wilkins from Clemson. So really, if you take a D lineman from Clemson, you really can't go wrong. We can kick in the linebackers. Josh Allen from Kentucky.
Mhm.
I mean, he's just a physical freak. There's Devin Bush from Michigan. He's I'd probably put him as second best linebacker, and then also Devin White from LSU.
I like Devin White a lot.
All right, let's get rolling into our final subject of the podcast. We're going to talk about everyone's favorite subject. We're talking about the Cleveland Browns.
America's team.
Yes, America's team. Let's get right into it. All right, our first topic of discussion is Kitchens. I like Kitchens. I think he's the guy. He's a football guy. He knows the city. He knows Baker Mayfield. And we saw his product last year.
Yeah. Freddie. I mean, he's been in the league since '06. He's coached under Parcells.
Yes.
He didn't self-promote himself.
He's coached under Wisenhunt. He's been in the Super Bowl. He's been under
Bruce
Arians.
Arians, yeah.
And I mean, if you just like the way he is, like he's just down to earth. He doesn't have an ego. He's not about him. He's about the organization.
Mhm.
He's about the fans. He wants to win.
Mhm. What do you think of the staff?
I think it's pretty high powered.
I do too.
Todd Monken. He was the offense coordinator with the Bucks, and he did not call plays. Dirk Cutter did, and as we know, Freddie Kitchens will call plays. But under Monken, the air raid that Bucks ran was best in the league. I mean, they had a lot of turnovers. That's not his fault that his quarterbacks had made bad decisions. But Mike Evans had like 1,400 yards, like 90 receptions.
Yeah.
Sean Jackson, and I think we have players at Perriman, who I hope we resign, which they're talking in contract with Perriman, Higgins, and Greg Robinson as we speak. I think it's just him, Callaway, and those deep threat guys. I think it's just a really good fit. We got Stump Mitchell. He was with the Jets last year. He's the running back coach. He's coached Ricky Waters and Sean Alexander. And the Jets run game, it was okay last year. But, I mean, they didn't really have a lot to work with. One of the assistants we did retain, which was Adam Henry, wide receivers coach.
I think that was smart.
Can't disagree with that. We moved Ryan Lindley up to quarterbacks coach. He was named running backs coach last year.
After Kitchens.
We got James Campman as the O-line coach and associate head coach. He was the O-line coach for the Green Bay Packers the last couple of years and done a pretty good job. We'll kick into defense coordinator Steve Wilkes. I love the hire. What about you guys?
I think it's a great hire. Yeah.
He was the defense coordinator and defense backs coach over the years with the Panthers. With the Panthers, I believe in 2017, the Panthers did not give up a 100-yard rusher. Our run defense was not good last year.
Mm-hmm.
They had 50 sacks. They were the third run defense. And when he was their DB coach, when Josh Norman blew up on the scene, they led the NFC with 17 interceptions, and they gave them a 73.5 passer rating. And our passer rating wise, takeaways is pretty good. I think he'll improve on that. I think he'll help Denzel Ward out because I mean he's Denzel, great in coverage, he's great in everything else. He's just got to learn how to tackle. We got Chris Jones as a defensive assistant. He was a GM and head coach in the Canadian Football League.
He's been around.
He's been around for a long time. We retained Dwayne Walker as the DB's coach, but we added Joe Witt as the pass game coordinator. And actually, one of the hires I did not expect was Tosh Lapoy, the Alabama defense coordinator, defensive lines coach. You guys ever seen that dude?
Yeah.
He's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So I think that our one thing I expect next year, I expect a revamped run defense.
Yeah, we're not going to see Jabril Peppers line 20 yards off the ball.
Yeah,
so.
Jamal Adams will be lined up 20. Because, Greg for the Jets.
Mhm.
I love Greg Williams. He did a lot for us.
Yes.
He saved our season.
Yeah.
I don't like him as defense coordinator that much. I mean, we did okay, but it was just like it was too much bend don't break. I don't want to bend at all.
All right, let's talk about roster moves the Browns can make this year. I think there's some areas you can improve on. I think we can improve on the wide receiver position. For the first time in, it seems like 100 years, we don't have to worry about the quarterback position. Running back position, we can leave alone. But yeah, I think it comes down to getting one more guy on the O-line.
Yeah,
just for backup. And
I think we can replace Hubbard fairly easy.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't that great.
Mhm.
Greg Robinson stepped in and did a pretty amazing job at left tackle, considering we've been using Joe Thomas for 10 years.
Yeah.
But one thing I really do, I think we need some linebackers. Jamie Collins,
Well, they're not going to pay him. So.
No, I mean to pay him for how he produces,
Yeah.
he's not worth that. We can cut him and save $9 million.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you can get. I'd sign Avery Williamson. You can even draft a linebacker. One that a name I've seen thrown around is D Ford.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
I can see also, and then I think we need some D linemen.
Yeah, I think we need one more edge rusher.
I would like Trey Flowers. We all saw him play play against the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Grady Jarrett. That one might be a tough get. I don't know if the Falcons let him go. Frank Clark, because it would be nice to have a guy opposite Myles Garrett.
Absolutely.
But a low risk, high reward pick, I was talking about him earlier, is David Irvin. And actually, when Dorsey was the GM at Kansas City, he signed him to the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see it going.
All right. Well, let's get into our last segment about the Browns. Let's talk about the projections and predictions for next year. What do you guys think is going to happen? What record do you think?
Browns go 11-5, win the AFC North, and host a playoff game.
Mm-hmm. I'm exactly with you. Same record, 11-5, win the AFC North, maybe this is a little bold prediction, but maybe, just maybe, I can see them going to the AFC Championship game. What do you think?
The only time I really thought about this was yesterday, and the record they came up with was 11-5. I can see them winning the AFC North by 2 or 3 games at least. The North is trending downward, and we're trending up. And we'll see where we go from there.
All right, thanks guys for joining us on the first JVC Sports Talk podcast. I'm Jack.
I'm Vinny.
I'm Corey. Let's do it again.
We will. All right, so
Wait, before you,
do we have to trim it?
no, play the beginning real quick, because I think it was a little quiet. That's why I turned the mic on, but I mean, we can always fix that.
Yeah.
Just play it right, just play it from there. Oh, I got it. I don't know if the volume's up. I don't know. I will just. Probably the volume's up. We'll just save it. I mean, we can post it on SoundCloud or something like tomorrow before class.